Well, folks, you saw how I got here. On my feet. And that's what this is all about. Man walks. He can fly through the clouds. He can roll on wheels. He can be carried out on a stretcher. But for the most part, man walks. In many years of roaming up and down the planet in Borneo, Siam, Paris, New York, Zanzibar, I have seen a lot of feet. Civilized feet, savage feet. Civilized feet are the ones that face the hardest problem, if feet can face anything. Civilized feet pound the pavements and pay the price. The World War taught us a lesson. Among the Americans called to the colors in the World War, 49% of the physical defects were foot troubles, not to mention the lads who got fallen arches hot-footing it after the girls in Paris. Among high school boys in Milwaukee, an examination showed that 46% were weak in their feet as well as in their studies. In a leading university, the sophomore class showed that 20% had defective feet. And of men over 40, 7 out of 10 are dogged by foot troubles. And dogged, that's the right word. Experts tell me that most of this is the result of ill-fitting or poorly designed shoes. Ah, but now in their pristine, unencumbered glory, let's take a look at human feet. I might call them human dogs, except that they don't bark. These are perfect feet. The human foot is so intricate that I'm out of my depth, 2 feet out. So let a scientist tell us. A podiatrist, Dr. Joseph Lelefeld, founder of the Foot Clinics of Boston. How about it, Doctor?
It is a privilege to impart knowledge of the foot to you who can use it so helpfully. Perfect foot owes both strength and efficiency to its arches. The most important one, the long arch, extends forward from the heel bone, the os calcis, one of the group of 7 chunky bones called the tarsals. And here is the highest and weakest point of this arch. The front part of this long arch consists of 5 long bones, the metatarsals. They are hinged in back to the tarsals and in front to the phalanges or toe bones. Just behind the heads of the metatarsals, the bones form another arch called the metatarsal arch. The entire weight of the body bears down on the stragglus by way of the bones of the lower leg, whose attendant muscles are attached by tendons to the foot bones. Bands of incredibly tough and elastic tissue, called ligaments, hold the bones in place, while the network of resilient muscles provides further support. Blood vessels, of course, are needed to feed the tissue, and an intricate nerve system still further complicates the anatomy of the foot.
Well, Doctor, you have given us the anatomical side of it. Now let's watch the foot in action. We do this all the time, but we don't think much about it unless we've got a couple of corns. The heel rises and shifts the weight to the ball of the foot. And our old friend, the big toe, is the fulcrum on which the coordinating muscles get their leverage to propel the body forward. The Indian Sitting Bull, when he wasn't sitting, walked on feet that had neither corns, bunions, fallen arches, nor shoes. Ah, but Sitting Bull walked on soft, foot-molding turf, whereas we pound the pavement. So modern man must be shod, not in the moccasin of the Indian, the sandals of the Arab, or the loop-the-loop shoes of the Afghan. Modern. To tell the story, each foot bears half the burden, 90 pounds apiece. That's when we are standing still. But modern man doesn't stand still. He's always going places, strolling down the avenue, pacing the floor with little Elmer at 2 a.m. and dodging the bill collector. Then each foot takes the entire weight. Each foot hits the hard surface, and the hard surface hits back. And the foot takes it on the chin or on the ball, or on the 4th metatarsal. Now see what happens when the weight of the body presses down on the bare foot. The weight is received on 3 bearing areas. On the heel, on the ball of the foot, and the outer border. This is the impression of a strong, normal foot, the kind we should have, the kind Chief Walkumfast had. Now see the imprint of a foot with stretched ligaments and weakened muscles. That's the telltale track of a weak foot. It's what the doctor calls a flattened longitudinal arch, and it makes feet tire easily. If such feet are not properly supported, they sure do hurt. Feet like this produce dull aches, and then the dull aches go elsewhere. You often find them in remote parts of the body. Troubles that are mistaken for rheumatism, for neuritis, and all sorts of things come from feet. Yes, poor old Flatfoot, something that only a mother could love. But let's appeal again to the learned doctor for the scientific aspect and the cure.
Painful condition results from the flattening of the metatarsal arch, which is the point where much serious foot trouble is found. The cause is usually a shoe, in which the sole cups down under the center of the ball of the foot and bends up at the edges. Such a sole encourages the front arch to lower, with the consequent pinching of the nerves between the toes. A slight raise, properly placed in the shoe bottom, relieves the pain caused by this condition. An early symptom of trouble in the metatarsal arch is a painful callus under the forward heads of the metatarsal bones. But remember that the weakening of the metatarsal arch often occurs without a callus being formed. Faulty footwear can cause all these conditions and others, such as hammer toes and bunions, which may require surgical intervention. But even when neglected for a long time, much good can be accomplished by correctly fitted shoes. Foot authorities agree that factors in a scientifically designed shoe are, first, complete and adequate support for all weight-bearing areas, and second, room for the natural position of the foot when expanded body weight.
And here is the answer, the cure.